I know. Good evening, everybody. We are going to begin on page 2 of the supplements. Olam chesed yibaneh. Yadadai, dai, 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 dai. Olam chesed yibaneh. Yadadai, dai, 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 dai. Olam chesed yibaneh. Yadadai, dai, 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 dai. Olam chesed yibaneh. Yadadai, dai, 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 dai. I will build this world from love. Yadadai, dai, 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 dai. And you must build this world from love. Yadadai, dai, 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 dai. And if we build this world from love, yadadai, dai, 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 then God will build this world from love. Yadadai, dai, 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 dai. Olam chesed yibaneh. Yadadai, dai, 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 dai. Olam chesed yibaneh. Yadadai, dai, 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 dai. Olam chesed yibaneh. Yadadai, dai, 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 dai. Olam chesed yibaneh. Yadadai, dai, 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 dai. Shabbat Shalom. How wonderful it is to be together on this Shabbat, whether here in the sanctuary or on YouTube, here on this last Shabbat of the year, when we reflect on what kind of world we want to build in this new year and what we need to do to get there. But the Torah reminds us that even in the midst of building the Mishkan, the portable home for God that the Israelites would carry through the wilderness, even in the middle of that building project, the Israelites needed to pause for Shabbat, and so do we, as we contemplate building our world, need our Shabbat as well. So we're going to continue with the lighting of the Shabbat candles, and to reflect on the meaning of this special Shabbat, let's turn to page 304. And let's join together in the English in preparation for Rosh Hashanah on page 304. Through all of Elul, stirred by the shofar's call, we have waited for this thin sliver of shining Tishrei moon. As the sun sets and the crescent ascends into the very heavens, created anew, we ask you to remember us unto life in all its sweetness. May this new year bring us peace and the promise of bright beginnings. Let these lights we are about to kindle cast a golden glow like honey upon all that we love. Grant us joy, grant us the full measure of our days, grant us each other that we might share our lives with you. The blessing for lighting the candles is on page 301. Maggie, if you would come light for us. should work. Let's see. Push this one. That's out. There you go. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. We turn back to page 13 as we welcome the Shabbat angels of peace and joy. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. As I just mentioned, and as you know, tonight is the last Shabbat of the year 5782. There's a song that I often think of when I am especially conscious of the passage of time. Joni Mitchell's song, The Circle Game, highlights the changes we have undergone and those we may yet undergo. Despite whatever disappointments we may have endured, it points us toward a hopeful future. As she sings, though our dreams have lost some grandeur coming true, there will be new dreams, maybe better dreams, and plenty in the year and years ahead. As we prepare to move into this new year, it encourages us to reflect on our lives and the meaning that we bring to it. As she sings, we look behind from where we came, which helps us to choose our direction for the year to come. The words are on your supplemental sheets. Yesterday, a child came out to wander, caught a dragonfly inside a jar. Fearful when the sky was full of thunder, and tearful at the falling of a star. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on the carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came and go round and round and round in the circle game. Then the child moved 10 times round the seasons, skated over 10 clear frozen streams. Words like, when you're older, must appease him, and promises of someday make his dreams. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on the carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came and go round and round and round in the circle game. 16 springs, 16 summers gone now. Cartwheels turn to car wheels through the town. And they tell him, take your time, it won't be long now, till you drag your feet to slow the circles down. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on the carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came and go round and round and round in the circle game. So the years spin by, and now the boy is 20. Though his dreams have lost some grandeur coming true. There'll be new dreams, maybe better dreams, and plenty before the last revolving year is through. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on the carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came and go round and round and round in the circle game. And go round and round and round in the circle game. This song has an additional personal connection for me. When I was a teenager, music became a primary source for strengthening my Jewish identity. I loved the new melodies that were becoming popular at that time, written by artists like Debbie Friedman, Kol Beseder, and others. They conveyed Jewish values and even some Hebrew texts in an engaging way, and they were fun to sing. I enjoyed them so much that I started to learn to play guitar to accompany myself while singing them. And then in the summer of 1982, which doesn't feel quite as long ago as it actually was, as a camper in the Reform Movement's Camp Eisner in Great Barrington, I took an elective in song leading. For the first time, I would learn to use my guitar to help me lead other people in song and prayer. Finally, a few weeks into the summer, it was the night of my debut. As part of my unit's Havdalah service before our Saturday evening dance, I would lead Circle Game. When we reached the right point in the service, I started to play and sing, and it went horribly. I couldn't play the correct chords, which kept me from singing the correct notes. I'm not being modest. It was objectively brutal. As soon as the service ended, I scooped up my things, ran back to my cabin, hurled myself onto the bed, and stayed there, face down, despondent, for the rest of the night. Or at least that was my plan, until one of the song-leading counselors came in. I wish I could remember exactly what she told me. I'm pretty sure that she did not say it wasn't that bad, because it was. But in my memory, she told me that even though it was bad, the next time I would improve. I had not done well, but I was resilient enough to do it again and to be better. she consoled me enough to get me to the party. And she was right. As I kept playing, I did get better. I even got some paying gigs as a song leader for youth group events during college. And now, 40 years later, as you can tell, I'm still not terribly good, but I am still plugging away, doing my best to play and sing and lead. The biblical selections that we read this Shabbat also tell a story of resilience. Last week, our Torah portion included Moses warning the Israelites about the consequences if they turned away from God. He detailed a long and graphic roster of devastating curses that would befall the people should they disobey the mitzvot. Some scholars think that this list was actually written later, after the Babylonians had conquered Jerusalem, destroyed the temple, and exiled the Jews, and that these curses actually accurately depict the horrible conditions of that time. But in this week's portion, despite everything the people would suffer, all would not be lost. Moses reassures the people that after all these terrible things happen, the survivors will turn back to God, and God will, in turn, turn back to them. He promises, Adonai, your God, will restore your fortunes and take you back in love. God will bring you together again from all the peoples where Adonai, your God, has scattered you. And Adonai, your God, will bring you to the land which your ancestors occupied, and you shall occupy it. And God will make you more prosperous and more numerous than your ancestors. They will be able to endure, and they will be able to thrive again. And this week's Haftarah portion gives the same message. Speaking to the exiled community in Babylon, the prophet Isaiah articulates a beautiful vision of God's continuing love for and protection of the Israelites. He says, "Nevermore shall you be called forsaken, nor shall your land be called desolate, but you shall be called, I delight in her, and your land shall be called espoused. And as a groom rejoices over his bride, so will your God rejoice over you." Isaiah encourages the people to be resilient after their exile. His promises of future glory help them hold on to hope. I think the message of resilience is particularly powerful for us as we stand on the threshold of a new year. For many of us, these past years have been challenging and difficult and painful. It would be easy, it would be understandable if we got discouraged, wanting nothing more than to hurl ourselves into bed and stay there. We have endured losses and disappointments, but we have endured. And because we have endured, we have the ability, the possibility, to make what comes next better than what came before. Winston Churchill famously said, "If you're going through hell, keep going." That is the challenge that confronts us this year. How can we keep going? Instead of remaining stuck in the curses, how can we look for and create and be blessings? How can we return from our exile from one another and from our best selves to rebuild our connections, our confidence, and our contentment? As we look behind from where we came, how can we be resilient enough to do better this year? Joni Mitchell herself is an exemplar of resilience. As you may know, in 2015, she suffered a brain aneurysm that deprived her of her mobility and her voice. Drawing on her past experience overcoming childhood polio, she put her music aside and worked hard to recover, making gradual progress. She was not able to play, let alone perform, for many years. But after 7 years of rehabilitation, this past July, she made a surprise appearance at the Newport Folk Festival, performing several powerful pieces there. In her song, Both Sides Now, I heard another message of resilience when she sang, "Something's lost, but something's gained in living every day." Even with all we may have lost, when we keep going, we still gain. Especially this week, as we approach the start of a new year, we must remember that although we get both sides, win and lose, we need to keep living every day. Our challenge is to figure out how we can be resilient enough to make this coming revolution of the circle game even better than the last. Shabbat gives us the opportunity for resilience every week, the chance to recover from the week that has passed and to refresh ourselves for the week ahead. And so with great joy, we welcome Shabbat as we turn to page 21. Lecha Dodi, come, my beloved, to greet the bride. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Hishmianu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad, Ushemo echad, L'shemol tiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki hi makor habracha, Merosh mikedem nesucha, Sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, Kiva orech, Kumi ori, uri, Sherdaberi, Kevod Adonai alayik nikla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, Gam b'simcha u'v'tzola, Toch emune am segula. Boi chala, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. We stay standing as we turn to page 27, Chatzi Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, B'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael. Bagala, ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה, יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי לקודשה בריחו, לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה, ואמרו אמן. Page 28. ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. Can be seated. Let's keep a finger on page 29 and turn to page 311. Page 311. For the blessings which you lavish upon us in forest and sea, in mountain and meadow, in rain and sun, we thank you. For the blessings you implant within us, joy and peace, meditation and laughter, we are grateful to you. For the blessings of friendship and love, of family and community, for the blessings we ask of you and those we cannot ask, for the blessings you bestow upon us openly and those you give us in secret. For all these blessings, Creator of the universe, we thank you and are grateful to you. For the blessings we recognize and those we fail to recognize, for the blessings of our tradition and the joy of this holy Shabbat, for the blessings of return and forgiveness, of memory, of vision, and of hope. For all these blessings which surround us on every side, dear God, hear our thanks and accept our gratitude. For the blessing of Torah, the gift of Torah, we give thanks on page 29, Ahavat Olam. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Havta, Amcha Havta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadata, otanu limadata. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shachvenu uvkumenu nasiach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem negeh yomam v'layla negeh yomam v'layla ve'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim baruch ata Adonai ohev amo Yisrael ohev amo Yisrael. Page 30. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Hashem, Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, V'chol levavcha, U'v'chol nafshecha, U'v'chol me'odecha, V'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, Asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha, V'shinantam levanecha, V'dibarta bam, B'shivtecha b'veitecha, Uv'lechtecha v'derech, Uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha, U'kshartam le'ot al yadecha, V'hayu letotafot ben einecha, Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, U'visharecha. Page 31 in the 6th line from the top. Leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'tem kedoshim le'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet. On page 32, we join in our song of liberation and celebration, redemption, Mi Chamocha. Yai lai lai la lai la lai la 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 lai, yai lai 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 ya la lai 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 lai, ya lai la lai lai, yai lai la la lai, yai la lai lai, ya la lai lai lai. Mi Chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi Kamocha nedar b'kodesh, Norah tehilot, oseh feleh, Norah tehilot, oseh feleh. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe. Ze Eli anu ve'amru, Ze Eli anu ve'amru. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, Norah tehilot, oseh feleh, Norah tehilot, oseh feleh. Let's continue on page 32 on the bottom left. Let's join together in English. Daily you renew our souls, restoring us as you redeemed our ancient nation Israel from slavery to freedom, from sorrow to triumph, blessing our people with the springtime of its life to be renewed by all of us each year. Healer of our wounds, holy God, do not abandon us to enemies who threaten, to tyrants who deny your sovereignty. Into your care we commit our souls, now as in the past, sustained by your truth, embraced by your love, inspired with hope for the future by your faith in us. Beloved are you, Redeemer of the people Israel, whose faithfulness in ages past assures our future too. Page 34. We keep Shabbat v'shamru. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, ot hi le'olam, ot hi le'olam, ot hi le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. As we prepare for the Amidah, we keep a finger on page 35b, and we turn to page 353. Page 353. Ruler of the universe, master of prayer, open your lips within me, for I cannot speak. Send me words to help me shape your praise, to bring peace and blessing to my days. Too often the world has stifled all words of blessing within me. So much has threatened to break my spirit. Help me, O God, for I have been so very low, and you heal the broken in spirit with love. In your compassion, in your boundless love, give me words of prayer, then accept them from me. May my words, your words, be sweet and whole before you as the words of King David, sweet singer of psalms. I am so often weary, empty, dry. In thirst, in hunger, I seek comfort, joy, and song. Transform my sorrow, O God. Help me to renew my faith, my hopes, as I raise my soul toward you. Open your lips within me, O God, that I may speak your praises. Back on page 35b, we begin the Amidah together, and then we'll continue individually from there. If you wish to follow the liturgy of the Siddur, it goes through page 38, or you can look inside yourself for the words and prayers of your own heart and your own soul. When you've had as much time as you'd like for your private prayers, you may be seated. We start by rising together on page 35b. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Koneh Hakol, ve'Zocher Chasdei Avot, Umevi Goel Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Ufoked Umoshia Umagen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ufoked Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye Metim Atah Rav Lehoshia, Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechaye Metim Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Berofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. On page 38, at the end of the paragraph in the middle. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'imru, imru, amen. We turn our thoughts now to our loved ones and friends who are ill, those who are in need of healing, whether physically or spiritually or emotionally. Tonight in our congregational family, we think particularly of Phyllis Burke, Arthur Campbell, Tony Casella, Valerie Frank, Jonathan Gardner, David Glazer, Marilyn Hoffman, Justin Israel, Jay Kelly, Cheryl Leahy, Nancy Mayer, Pat Pelletier, Michael Schreiber, Tal Schechter, Cindy Sherman, Iris Sherman, Yonina bat David HaKohen v'Sarah, Esther bat Chaim v'Goldi. If there's someone for whom you are particularly concerned tonight, someone who is in your prayers this evening, I invite you to say that person's name aloud now. We hold in our hearts all of our loved ones and friends who are ill as we join in our prayer for healing, Mishaberach, on the inside back cover of the Siddur. Mishaberach avotenu Mekor habracha le'imotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu Mekor habracha la'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Let's turn to page 148. As we join in the prayer for our country. Our God and God of our ancestors, we ask your blessings for our country, for its government, for its leaders and advisors, and for all who exercise just and rightful authority. Teach them insights from your Torah, that they may administer all affairs of state fairly, that peace and security, happiness and prosperity, justice and freedom may forever abide in our midst. Creator of all flesh, bless all the inhabitants of our country with your spirit. May citizens of all races and creeds forge a common bond in true harmony, to banish hatred and bigotry, and to safeguard the ideals and free institutions that are the pride and glory of our country. May this land, under your providence, be an influence for good throughout the world, uniting all people in peace and freedom, helping them to fulfill the vision of your prophet. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they experience war anymore. And let us say, Amen. We turn to page 51, and we rise for Aleinu. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת. אין עוד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Can be seated. As we prepare for Kaddish, we recall the loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have taken into our hearts with our own. Tonight, our congregational family particularly remembers Maxine Weisinger, sister of Ross Mayer, Rosalind Fogelnest, mother of Deborah Sirota, and Michael Berkowitz, husband of Natalie Berkowitz, father of Sherry Weintraub, father-in-law of Jacob, grandfather of Sammy and Lexi, for whom we are still in Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning. And our congregational family remembers with special affection our loved ones whose Yahrzeit will occur this coming week. Edwin Coleman Flaschenberg, father of David Flaschenberg, Min Kempner, grandmother of Adam Kempner, Anita Turtletaub, mother of Bertha Shear, James Uditsky, father of Esther Jacobs, Anne M. Milton, mother-in-law of Gloria Aronson, Teresa J. Leonard Hanley, mother of Michael Hanley, Beverly Schneider, mother of Joy Parad, Frank Meyerhoff, father of Natalie Berkowitz, Francis Bortunio, father of Denise Morgan. If you are remembering someone this evening, we invite you to say that person's name aloud now. Zichronam livracha. May the memories of all our dear ones be a blessing. If you're saying Kaddish in someone's memory tonight, we ask you to rise now. In loving support of the mourners, we rise as a congregation. In gratitude to God for the gift of the lives of their loved ones, those who are in mourning and those remembering someone, say Kaddish on page 52. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayeichon uvyomeichon, uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agalau v'izman kariv imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach la'alam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei dekudsha b'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, d'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort all of the bereaved. And we say, amen. Please be seated. Marty, if you're up for announcements, thank you.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to TCS, where we value innovating education, building community, honoring individuality, drawing meaning from Judaism, and upholding our social responsibility. All of our programming, including the ones I will mention today, reflect these values. Torah study with Rabbi Carr tomorrow at 9 a.m. in person with coffee and bagels or remote. Havdalah service tomorrow at 7 p.m. This Sunday night at 5:30 p.m., Erev Rosh Hashanah, family-oriented service. The schedule for Rosh Hashanah services on Monday and Tuesday are in your TCS emails. Next Sunday, October 2nd, 11 a.m. at TCS, join our Sulam students for a very special program featuring HUC rabbinical student Shoshana Nambi. She is a member of the Ugandan Abba Yudaya Jewish community and recently published a children's book about celebrating Sukkot. Complete information is in your weekly email. 12:15, Tashlik at Shovel Shop Pond, Governor Oliver Ames Estate Community Park, 35 Oliver Street in Easton, and 4 p.m. is the annual Sisterhood membership sign-up and kickoff event at Langwater Farm. Sisterhood will be sponsoring the break fast on Yom Kippur. Sign-up link is in your weekly email. Thank you to the Sisterhood for sponsoring tonight's Oneg. If you would like to make a donation to help cover the cost of the beautiful High Holy Days flowers, please send a check to the office. Remember, information and links to all activities are included in your weekly emails on Mondays, as well as special notices. Please remember to return your name badges to the drawers in the foyer before you leave the temple. Thank you.
Thanks, Marty. Could you do me a favor? Could you get the Kiddush cup? Because I want to do Kiddush to you. Thank you. Just a couple of additional notes to those announcements. Havdalah tomorrow night at 7 o'clock is on Zoom with the link that is in the regular email. And I'm really excited about this program on October 2nd with Shoshana Nambi. I think she has a fascinating story, her journey from Uganda to Israel to New York to rabbinical school. She is going to be the first female rabbi for the Ugandan community, from the Ugandan community. It's really a fascinating story, and we're delighted that she's going to be on Zoom sharing it with us here in the sanctuary. With our students. So thank you. So that'll be a great program. So please join us at 11 o'clock. That'll be quite a day. October 2nd. We have that program from 11 to 12, and then we're going to go from here to Shovel Shop Pond for Tashlich, and then that afternoon at 4 o'clock is Sisterhood's kickoff event at Langwater Farms, which I suspect much of Sisterhood who's here tonight knows already, but just wanted to say it again. Thank you, Sisterhood, for the Oneg tonight and for all that you do to support the life of our congregation and our community. I don't remember if it was in the announcements or not, to remind people to sign up for the Break Fast, which Sisterhood is also organizing, the Break Fast after Yom Kippur. The sign-up link is out in the emails as well. Please sign up to not only join us, but to bring something to help to support that. A lot of those announcements were about Rosh Hashanah happening next week, which is still hard to believe, but we do a number of things in this last month of the year to help us try to get ready for it. One of them is that at the very end of the service, we have our wake-up call with hopefully a blast of the shofar. But before that, we sing a verse from Psalm 27, which is on the back of the supplements. Psalm 27 is traditional to read during this time because it raises a number of the themes of the holy days. This particular verse calls us to try to live a life worthy of being in God's house, to dwell with God, and to merit that kind of life. So, and we do that by living in that way. Yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yai dai dai yada dai 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 yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yai dai dai yada dai 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 yai dai yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 Achat sha'alti me'et Adonai ota avakesh. Achat sha'alti me'et Adonai ota avakesh. Shivti bevet Adonai Kol yemei chayai, lachazot benoam Adonai, ulvaker behechalo. Lachazot benoam Adonai, ulvaker behechalo. Achat sha'alti me'et Adonai ota avakesh. Achat sha'alti me'et Adonai ota avakesh. Before our final blast of the shofar, we are going to do Kiddush, which is on page 49, and then we will blow shofar and then continue into the multipurpose room for Oneg. And then in the multipurpose room. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, b'shabbat kodsho, b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lemase v'reishit. Ki hu yom techila, למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. After we blow the shofar, those of you who are on YouTube can come back to Zoom and schmooze with each other in the Zoom room after the service. Please rise for the shofar. On the count of three, please say the magic word. 1, 2, 3. Shalom.